Ever wondered how AI like ChatGPT, self-driving cars, or even facial recognition work? The secret lies in something called a neural network. But what exactly is it? In this video, we'll break down neural networks in the simplest way possible. No confusing math, just clear concepts, real-world examples, and a step-by-step journey into the brain of artificial intelligence. By the end of these 10 minutes, you'll understand how machines learn, make decisions, and even generate human-like responses. Let's dive in. Think of a neural network as a simplified version of the human brain. Our brains are made of billions of neurons, tiny cells that process and pass information. In the same way, a neural network is made up of artificial neurons, also called nodes, that are connected in layers. Here's how it works. First, you give the network some input, for example, an image, a sentence, or even just numbers. These inputs get multiplied by weights, which are like importance scores, and adjusted with biases. Then, the result passes through something called an activation function, which decides whether this neuron should fire or stay quiet. Finally, the network produces an output, maybe identifying the object in a photo, predicting the next word in a sentence, or making a decision. In simple terms, a neural network is just math arranged in layers that helps computers make sense of data. Now let's talk about these layers. Every neural network has three main types of layers. One, input layer, where data enters. Imagine feeding an image of a cat to the network. Each pixel becomes a number. Two, hidden layers, where the magic happens. These are multiple layers of neurons working together, detecting patterns like edges, shapes, or even abstract concepts. 3. Output layer, where you get the final prediction. For our cat example, it might output 90% cat, 10% dog. Why so many hidden layers? Because each layer extracts more complex features than the one before. The first layer might just detect edges. The next one combines those edges into shapes. And deeper layers, they start understanding the concept of catness. This is why deep neural networks with many layers are so powerful. They learn hierarchies of features that help them solve complex problems like understanding language or recognizing faces. But here's the big question. How does a neural network learn? When you first build a neural network, its weights are random, so it performs poorly. But as it trains, it gets better. Here's the process. 1. Forward pass. Data flows through the network. For example, you feed it a photo of a dog and it predicts cat. 2. Loss function. The network measures how wrong it was. This is a score of its error. 3. Backpropagation. Here's where the magic happens. The network adjusts its weight slightly in the opposite direction of the error. 4. Gradient descent. This adjustment process is repeated over and over until the predictions improve. Think of it like this. The network starts as a bad guesser, but with every mistake, it learns a tiny lesson. Over thousands or even millions of examples, it gets smarter and smarter. Remember the activation function I mentioned earlier? This is crucial. Without it, a neural network would just be a boring calculator. Here are three common ones. Real U, rectified linear unit. It keeps only positive values, helping deep networks learn faster. Sigmoid squeezes outputs between 0 and 1, making it great for probabilities. Tana similar to sigmoid but balances values between 1 and 1. These tiny mathematical tricks give networks the ability to capture complex patterns, like turning raw pixels into meaningful features or understanding sentence context. Okay, so where do we see neural networks in action? Pretty much everywhere. In your phone, when it recognizes your face. In apps like Google Translate, turning one language into another. In self-driving cars, detecting pedestrians and traffic signs. And of course, in ChatGPT and other AI assistants generating human-like text. Neural networks are the backbone of modern AI. They've gone from simple models to complex architectures like convolutional neural networks for images and transformers for language. So there you have it. A neural network is just a system of artificial neurons working together to recognize patterns, make predictions, and solve problems. It may sound like magic, but it's really just layers of math, powered by huge amounts of data and computing. If you found this helpful, hit the like button and subscribe. In our next video, we'll break down how backpropagation really works, step by step. This is just the beginning of your journey into AI. See you in the next one.